Hello, so this is the first episode of the Welsh Kopites, just two Welsh fans, as it says in the channel name, talking shit about Liverpool and football in general. We're two idiots, so don't take it too seriously. 6-0 win against Qarabag in the Champions League. Finally, we get a convincing victory. Who's your player of the match? Who's your player of the match?
You know what, right? This is going to be a bit, because everyone's had their, player of the match and what have you, but I'm going to back Florian Wirtz. I just thought he was very, very good in the game. He just controlled it all. Seemed effortless for him, and fucking do what, fair play to him. He did incredible. The way he set up Ekatike's goal, and Ekatike set up his goal, and the way he took his goal, brilliant, unreal.
Yeah, I do think that Wirtz is coming into his own now. He's having a good having a good run. He's having a run of games that he needs to be having. But I just got to give it to Virgil, I think. A hat trick. He had a hat trick of assists. The first defender in Champions League history to get 3 assists in one match.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can understand that. That's fair enough. Defensively as well, we were very, very good. Very, very good. I thought that we didn't really have a moment. I didn't really see a moment where I was a bit nervous. We got to be fair though. It's Qarabag. Yeah, the nicest of respect, and fair play to their fans because they travelled like how many miles. They're the furthest team ever to come to Anfield. 2,500 miles. Is fair play to them. Fair play. Very well.
But at the same time, that team we put out, we've got to be beating Qarabag. 100% got to be beating Qarabag.
Although we've got to beat who's in front of us. So
yeah, true.
Very well done. And thing is, I want to see that sort of way we went about the game as well, though, in every game that we have moving forward. Because we had, defensively, we were just solid. I didn't see one bit where, could they be better there?
Yeah, but my slight concern was, though, in the first half. In the second half, we turned it on. Fair play. And they didn't get close. But the first half, they had times where they were on the ball quite a bit. And I thought, if you were braver, because we let them have a lot of time on the ball, probably because we weren't scared of them, but I thought, if you're braver here, in and around the box, we might have conceded a few chances. And the way we're going at the moment, conceding a few chances usually means conceding a few goals. But we did all right, I think. Player of the match, yours is Florian Wirtz, I'm assuming. Yeah. Mine is probably Virgil van Dijk, because the fact that he had a clean sheet, 3 assists, I don't think you can do any more as a defender, to be fair. And, right, so let's get to the nitty-gritty in regards to the Qarabag game. Mohamed Salah got himself on a score sheet again. Yeah. Finally. Yeah. But ultimately, what is Mo Salah's future? What's his future in Liverpool? What are the next steps? If you were in charge, what's the next steps in regards to Mo Salah?
I think I'd give him the rest of this season just to see it out, and then I probably would cash in on him in the summer. Let's be honest, I don't want to lose him on a free. Obviously, we know what Saudi are like. They're going to bid fucking loads for him. So I say, take that money. We can use it in defensive reinforcements, maybe a backup in certain areas we possibly need. But I think that, don't get me wrong, last night he was phenomenal. We were seeing glimpses of what he, used to be last season and what he is like, the typical Mo Salah. But I do think we should cash in him on the summer, really. Yeah,
but I think, again, it was a tale of two halves. The first half, I don't think Mo was that great. I think he was trying to do everything, but I think, again, he was just running into a brick wall. His passes weren't exactly coming off. But I think after he got that goal, it's weird the football is like a confidence thing, but after he got that goal, he was a bit more, we gave him the ball and he was just running at the defence. He was cutting in, but he looked like he had a bit more pace. But the problem is, we're not seeing Mo do that enough. And to be fair, I think I agree. I think in the summer, you get the money from him from the Saudis, but you wait until the summer. You don't sell him in January. I don't think that's going to happen now. We sell him in January. I think when he had that bust up a slot, it looked like, all right, we could have to just sell him in January. You get not the problem. That seems a bit harsh, but him and Slot had a bit of a feud, so it has to be a case of you have to let one of them go. So it looked like it was going to be Mo, but I think now you wait until the summer. You give him that send off. You let him know in April or something. Mo's going. And then you give him that send-off at the end. The same sort of send-off the Klopp had. The same send-off the fucking Naby Keita has for some reason. And Thiago Alcantara. You give him that sort of send-off where at the end of the season everyone knows they're going. You get to make that mosaic of Mo. Make Anfield a good team for him. And let him go as the legend that he is. If we're honest, this season, it just hasn't been to his usual standards. Loads of mitigating circumstances for that. But he just hasn't been the Mo Salah that we've needed him to be honest. And we've unfairly come to expect him to be. But yeah, I think that ultimately is the best for both worlds.
Yeah.
And if you can get the Saudis to pay about 40, 50 million for Mo Salah, we make a profit on someone who's our third.
I think they'll offer a bit more than that.
Nah, but it's his last year in his contract.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, like the Saudis have money, but they're not that stupid, surely. So, yeah, it's the last year of his contract. Even if you can get 40, 50 million for him, wicked. Even if you just get a 35 million that we paid back for him, we'd have broken even, not spent a penny in general on the transfer and sale of Mo Salah. So that would be great. So moving on now, that means for Liverpool is Liverpool are into the Champions League knockout phases, of course.
Yep.
And it could be either Juventus, Atletico, Club Brugge, or Galatasaray. So obviously the nicest would be Club Brugge. Because then a win there, say for example we managed to get past either Juventus, Atletico, Brugge, or Galatasaray, it would then mean, listen to this, either Barcelona, Chelsea, PSG, Newcastle, Monaco, or Qarabag again. Now,
I'll take Qarabag. I'll take Qarabag.
Sorry, Qarabag, we're just punching you when you're down here. But obviously the nicest path would be Brugge, probably, if we're being honest, and then Qarabag. Because you don't really want fucking Atletico.
I don't want. The thing is, though, I don't want Juventus either. I just feel like they're a team that could, come at us a bit, and we're not going to deal with that.
Nah, but Juventus, I think Juventus should be all right. I think in a shootout we might be able to go toe to toe with Juventus. Club Brugge. Yeah, we've had difficulties with them in the past, but I think we'd be able to beat Brugge if we're honest.
I do.
Atletico, stay away from them. They're trouble. They're just trouble. They just are. Even at Anfield, they're just trouble. Just stay away from them. I know we beat them in the first. Was it the first game in the Champions League? I think Atletico at home, 3-2. Virgil header.
Yeah, we did. It was late.
Yeah. But that was when we had momentum. That was when we were going.
Late winners and keeping the games. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's fun. Yeah, I think that stay away from that. That's tricky. And Galatasaray, they beat us. They beat us in Turkey.
I wouldn't be confident going away from home.
Nah, Turkey's difficult one. And I not back Galatasaray, but I could see Galatasaray coming to Anfield, making it tricky and holding it out after a win in Turkey as well. So basically, stay the fuck away from Atletico, stay away from Galatasaray, Juventus or Brugge, and I'm happy. And then, but the problem is so that's where the question is: can we win the Champions League realistically?
For me personally, no. I don't see that we go for it, because I think if we come up against like a big team, as you say, like for example like a Barca or something like that, I do believe we'll the sloppy mistakes that have cost us this season are just going to continue in the Champions League, especially against these sort of teams that can just exploit that and exploit our weaknesses that we've shown already. I do believe that if we face them against a bigger team like that, it's curtains. But no, I think if we have an easy sort of draw towards a final, I'll take it. But,
if we got a Brugge and a Qarabag, then you're starting to look at it. Like if somehow the mighty Qarabag managed to fight their way through and we get to Brugge and Qarabag, then you're starting to get a big. But then do you know who we face then?
Who's that?
The other side of the draw then is either like Real Madrid, Man City, Arsenal, Bayern.
Well, I'll take Madrid. I'll have a as long as we've got a right back that's fit, I'm fine. We're all good.
That's our problem now as well, though. Frimpong obviously going down injured within 2 minutes yesterday. Bradley isn't fit, and when he is fit, he's quite injury prone. I love him, but he's injury prone.
The rest of the season now, though, they have confirmed.
Yeah. So there we are. We're screwed at right back. FSG, do they need to get someone in at right back to the end of the season, or is it Szoboszlai having to fill in here again?
If I see Szoboszlai there again, I swear to God, I don't even know what I'm going to do. I don't even know anymore. He should not be playing there at all. He's one of the most creative players. We cannot afford to have him there.
I don't think he should be playing right back either. But the problem is, like, who should you put in there now? Who'd you put in there? Gomez.
We've seen Mataro play there. We've seen Mataro play there, but I wouldn't back it just to have him in there for the remainder of the season, because it's just not, it's not suitable.
Yeah, he's a scrapper. He's not necessarily a technical defender. Could you imagine like Doku against Endo?
Yeah, it'd be a long day.
8th of February, City come to Anfield. Doku against Endo. That's the way it could look.
I'm not excited about that because currently at the moment as well, we've got Gravenberch playing centre back. So we've got a lot of problems and issues here that FSGs need to sort out, because let's be honest, we said this, we literally the last days of January, we need to send a centre back if we want to push on. If they don't, I promise you, we're going to struggle to get top 4 if we don't get another centre back. So having Gravenberch there, not controlling the midfield like we need him to do.
Oh yeah, it's a very real possibility that we don't. It's a very real possibility that we don't get Champions League places.
Yeah,
very real possibility we don't get Champions League places.
For the first time in a long time, I'm quite worried. I think the last time I was worried was the season after we won the title before. If you remember, we only just scraped.
Yeah, when we had Nat Phillips and Reece Williams playing centre back. Oh, we still got third.
Yeah, I know. That season was at mad because we were on like a winning streak towards the end of the season. But I don't know. I feel less confident now than I did then because I don't know. It's just this season we've shown that we can be exploited and we can be beaten. Whether that's at Anfield or away, it doesn't matter where we are. We can get beaten. And we're just lacking the confidence. But I mean, last night was a bit better in terms of confidence and probably going forward. We could use the momentum a little bit going into the game against Newcastle. But I don't think that we're going to, I'm not really comfortable with that game either.
The issue was before last night and before the recent weeks is we were losing these games and we weren't looking great in these games when we had a full fit squad, when we had everyone available. And now we have Isak out for the rest of the season, Bradley out for the rest of the season, Frimpong will probably be out for the majority, if not the rest of the season with a groin injury. There's Ibu Konate at the moment, we can't rush him back because obviously it's a personal issue and you can't. There's no real time frame on that. Like, injuries are just happening galore all over the place at the minute. And we can't use that as an excuse because we were crap before the injuries. But what we're saying is now it's getting into the crunch end of the season where there's a lot of pressure on Slot to finish in the Champions League places. And there's a lot of pressure on Slot to probably get quite far in the FA Cup and not embarrass ourselves in the Champions League. It's going to be tough from here because now we're starting to pick up injuries as well, and that's no good.
No, the injuries are definitely going to waver on us 100%. You can already see it on the when I seen the squad out last night. I was just baffled. I know Gravenberch is probably the best fit in terms of what we had to go centre back. I was surprised he started him over Endo though at centre back, so I thought Endo would have gone in there and just slotted in there nicely. But yeah, with these injuries, it's gonna really impact the way we play and impact us going forward. But it's just the fact that we got like Joe Gomez out now as well for a bit. I'm not sure how long he's out for with whatever injury he has at the minute. Yeah, and I think the centre back really and defensively we're lacking options at the minute.
Yeah, Gomez is a big miss, 100%, because he can play centre back and right back. So he'd be a perfect stopgap now. But because he's had to come in early and he's made a glass, unfortunately. I rate Joe Gomez very highly, but he's made a glass. He gets injured, walks to the shot. Yeah, in regards to the Champions League, it's probably a step too far from us, to be fair. We've seen shocks happen in the past. We've seen Porto win it against all odds. We've seen Chelsea win it when they probably shouldn't have won it that second time against Manchester City. That's in 2005, of course, Istanbul.
Yeah.
We've seen shocks. We've seen teams that probably shouldn't have won it on paper go on to win it, but I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest. I don't think we can dig in enough against the top teams. And that brings us on to the final point. Arne Slot, what would you do? Stick or twist? What are you doing?
The people around me, they're very close to me. They know that I support Liverpool and watch it and what have you. They know that I want this guy gone. I've been wanting this guy gone for weeks, probably the last couple of months, really. I just think he's out of his depth completely.
But he won the league.
Again, we've been in this conversation many a times.
But he's won the. To say he's out of his depth though, he won the league.
Right. Yeah. Again, it's a fair point that people keep throwing at me, but I will always come back with this. The amount of players that we have lost over the transfer window and the players that we did have, right? That is a title-winning squad. And that's what I'll give it to you. We've had 400 million to spend, plus, I know it's a bit more than that. And we've chose to overspend in certain areas, for example, striker. In my honest opinion, I said this when we signed Ekitike, I'm happy with just Ekitike, maybe a backup striker to Ekitike, and have him as the main man and not sign Isak. I was kind of happy with that because of the way things were going. Again, that was the issue, that we overspent in those sort of areas, and we didn't, have some reinforcements in other areas. And we know Joe Gomez, obviously a massive point, was always going to get injured. We knew it. But going back to the point of Arne Slot, I just think that, some of his reasons as well, if you've seen in his press conference.
He's been shocking in the press conferences, I can't even lie.
I can't believe the stuff he's come out with. It's just incredible that I'm even sitting here and listening to a supposed to be top tier manager speak such nonsense. I've never seen this much in my life. He said that we won the league last season because we got knocked out by PSG. It's the fact that you've said that we got knocked out of the Champions League. You're saying that's the reason why we won the Premier League. It's just bizarre to me. It just all comes down to, one, the substitutions that he makes. Sometimes they're way too late in the game, or sometimes they're a bit questionable decisions. And bringing people off that maybe shouldn't have come off or should have stayed on. No, I just believe in the way he sets us up sometimes. The substitutions definitely affect us in a way. And of course, I'm not sure if he had much of a say on the summer signings, but definitely the summer signings, I think he could have done a bit better. And I'm not going to lie to you, I'm saying it now, and Slot needs to go.
I don't disagree about the substitutions. Sometimes his substitutions are questionable, sometimes his tactics are questionable. And the thing is with the press conferences, I do think he could rein it in a little bit. I think, he's some people rate the honesty. I rate the honesty to a certain degree because we come out and we say that we want people to just be honest. We don't want people to be PR merchants and just say what we're already thinking or what we already know they're going to say before they actually say it. So I do rate the honesty and the fact he doesn't pull any punches. But there are some things that he says where you're like, oh, come on, mate. You surely you know in your brain that this isn't going to sound great before you say it. Like the PSG thing.
I don't...
the PSG thing, it was crap to say. Why would you say it? Arsenal was the example that he used in the rest of the clip. The fact that Arsenal had to push on in the Champions League, so they were fighting on two fronts. So maybe that's why they dropped off again towards the end. But to be fair, we were already 7 to 10 points clear of Arsenal for the majority of the season anyway. I think someone said on a video the other day that I watched, we were 12 points clear by the time that we got knocked out of the Champions League by PSG anyway. So we already had a nice buffer. And a club like Liverpool, Arne Slot should know that we want to fight on all fronts. We want to fight for the Champions League and the Premier League simultaneously. So I don't think saying we only won the league because we sacrificed the Champions League. I don't think that's a great thing to say in any stretch of the imagination. So I think in that regard, yeah, he could be better. He's not been great. Summer signings though, you caveated your point with the fact that maybe he didn't have that much of a say on the summer signings. He probably didn't. We all know how much Edwards has had a say in the Liverpool transfers that are going on in the past few years. Hughes has come in, so he's probably going to want to make his mark as well. And I think I said to people as well, when we signed Alexander Isak is fantastic, he's wicked. He's one of those signings that you get hyped up for, you're like, I can't believe he plays for my club. But at the same time, and we were there for his first goal. We were at Anfield for his first goal, which was wicked as well. But ultimately, yeah, I agreed. And when people asked me at the time, because it was kind of between at the time it was penned up as Isak or Guéhi, which one would you rather sign? Which one's more important for Liverpool? It was all over Sky Sports and everything. And I was in complete agreement with people who were saying that we needed that centre-back, we needed Mark Guéhi over the line more than Alexander Isak. I would have been bagging down Crystal Palace's door, give him the 35 million, give him an extra 5 million, put it to 40 million, 45 million, whatever, I don't care, just get the deal done. And now, we've gone to shit because we didn't get that deal over the line. So that brings me to my next question, really. Well, you've already said what could he have done better. What would he need to have achieved from now until the end of the season to save his job?
To save his job? It's hard to say, really, because in my eyes, he shouldn't be in the job. It's one of the things where he's put himself in that situation there where I don't see where he can turn it around. I don't think there's a sort of thing.
So say he does the impossible, or what we think is impossible, or near impossible, and he wins the Champions League with Liverpool this season. He'll have won the Premier League and the Champions League in 2 seasons. But say he wins the Champions League, but obviously that means we qualify for the Champions League next season anyway. But say he wins the Champions League and he finishes where we are now, 6th. Does he stay?
Obviously, I'd like to believe that that's the sort of reality that we could be living in, but I know for a fact that it's not. But if by some chance he comes away with a Champions League win, of course it would sway a little bit of heads. It'd turn a little bit of heads. Definitely would give it a little bit of thing for mine, in my opinion, over him. But if it was all down to him, and not all down to him, but he has some sort of presence and a bit of not stubbornness in a way, but I'd say a bit of able to adapt in a way and change, a style of play. Possibly, I'd say that he could kind of redeem himself. But again, we're shooting for the stars here in terms of the Champions League. I don't think we get that far. I'm still at the moment stood on the fact that he shouldn't be in a job. It's not nothing against him personally as a person. Just I don't think he's the right man for the job.
But the thing is, at the moment, we're still in the Champions League fight. Obviously, we should. I understand. We shouldn't be in the Champions League fight in the first place. Money was spent in the summer. Yeah. We shouldn't be in the Champions League fight in the first place. I understand that. But the fact of the matter are, when we sit here now, is we are still in a Champions League fight. And if you look at the Premier League table, it's Man United in 4th, unfortunately, on 38. Chelsea on 37, us on 36. But then, the problem that we're having at the moment is Fulham are now on 34. So we're on 36. Fulham are on 34. Brentford are on 33. Newcastle 33. Everton on 33. Sunderland 33. So from 11th to 6th, there's only 3 points in it. And that's the problem now, is if this inconsistency continues, and say, for example, we fall below those teams and we fall into 11th, it's very hard to see him in the job, isn't it?
This is probably the worst run of form we've had since I think it was 1950s or something like that. Something like that in terms of time. That, to me, is ridiculous because we literally spent 435 million, around about that much, on improving the squad. And instead of improving the squad, we felt like we had a step back.
But that's the problem, isn't it? He's like, people don't caveat that. They say like, oh yeah, but you spent 450 million and something. Yeah, but we sold half of our starting 11. Trent is gone, Diaz is gone, Darwin is gone.
Let's be honest, Trent, for me, don't get me wrong, I didn't like the way he left. I didn't like the way he handled it. But in terms of a player, he was one of our main, sources of goals. Really, his part, the way he could pass, where you could just switch a ball like that, one ball over the top to Mo and he'd be in. It was those sort of days that I'm now taking for granted.
Oh, Mo's missing a big time. Mo's missing a big time.
Oh yeah, Mo. That's what I'm saying. Since we've lost Trent, I believe that Mo's not had the service. I wouldn't say, but every time Trent would be on the ball on the right hand side, Mo would go because he'd know that Trent was going to play that ball in behind, and that was it. Most of our goals did come from that, and that's why Trent was so integral to our team. But not only that, we lost Diaz as well, which is a main high presser. Same with Darwin. They were high pressing at it from minute one. And Diaz could take the game from the scruff of his neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we had 100% missing intensity. Even Kwanzaa, selling Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa was one of the most baffling ones to me. Like Diaz is the one that baffles everyone, but at the same time, when you look at it from a business perspective, he was 28 years old at the time of the sale. We sold it for 70 million quid, so we didn't sell it for pennies. Kwanzaa was the weirdest one because we were training him into becoming the next starting centre back for Liverpool, and then you just go, oh, he's gone. And it's like, well, why?
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, though, as well, he is doing really, really well at Bayer Leverkusen. And to be fair to him...
we got a buyback clause, I think. I think the rumours at the time were that we had a buyback clause. Fucking get him back.
I hope so.
If he'll come back, get him back. But then is it Slot doesn't like him for some reason? I don't understand. But... going back to the original question, say we transport ourselves to the end of the season now. What has happened to Liverpool in which Arne Slot stays? Is it just winning the Champions League?
I wouldn't say it's winning something. I think it's more of I need to see a change in terms of maybe tactically in the way we play. Because last season, you look from last season, the way we played, and they're calling it slot ball. You look at it now, it's two different things of football. One of them was high intensity, heavy metal, kind of like what Jurgen played, which was kind of the reason why we won the league, and that's what.
But I think that's because we had the Jurgen players. I think it was 100% a moment in time where you had Arne Slot's calmness and trying to control the game. And the players who still had the intensity the Jurgen Klopp wanted, they would do the pressing, would win the ball back. So we'd win the ball back and control the game. Whereas now we're just trying to control the game, but because we're not used to it and we can't do it, it's all going to shit. Because we don't have the backup plan of just, fuck it, dig in, intensity, win the ball back. Let's just outrun these and smash them to bits. We don't have that anymore because Slot's trying to eradicate that. That's not what Slot wants. So I don't think it's going to be a case of changing the football, because I think the Slot's very much set his stall on, this is the kind of football I want to play.
That's my issue in terms of him as a manager. He won't adapt. It's not working.
So if Slot won the Champions League, but he won it his way, you'd still want him gone.
Mm-hmm. See, that's a hard one to say.
Because then it's successful.
That's
the problem.
Like,
but as you say, let's live in the reality. Okay, so take away the Champions League because that doesn't look like we're going to win it. Say we have a lucky run in the FA Cup. Brighton is a hard game. We might not even get past Brighton. So, even though it's at home. But say, for example, in the FA Cup, say he wins the FA Cup, but we finish fifth in the, not fifth, because fifth might be Champions League places. Let's say he wins the FA Cup and he finished sixth in the Europa League spot.
Not good enough. Think about it, okay, for example, I'll use as well, Eric Ten Hag won the FA Cup, but he finished like what? Was it 6th, 7th, something like that? He got the sack. It's an example. Just because you won the FA Cup doesn't mean you should. Doesn't mean that you've got some sort of, I won the FA Cup, you can't sack me now. It's nothing like that. Champions League's a bit of a different scale.
Yeah. But I say personally, my answer would be, say if he can finish in the Champions League places, then I'll give him another roll of the dice because he's still in the Champions League. If he's out of the Champions League places, for me, we're too far away.
Yeah.
Then you run the risk of giving him too much time. We slip too far away from the others. And then that's where you see the Man United of the last 10 years where they're nowhere near because you've slipped out of it, you don't have the pull anymore, and it's gone. So if we don't finish in the Champions League, I think he's made a rod for his own back in that he'll have to, he'll be done.
I do believe that the Champions League places for me is more important than even winning the FA Cup, for example. I don't get me wrong, I'd love to win the FA Cup. It'd be a massive thing for me. There's videos online of me screaming and shouting when we did win the FA Cup. But for me, the Champions League places are very, very important because not only does it bring in revenue, it brings in a bit of interest. Come over to us, we're champions. We're champions of the biggest clubs in England, probably the biggest club in England. I'll always argue that. But yeah, it brings a sense of pull. Knowing that you're playing in the Champions League. But if he doesn't get that, I do believe if he wins the FA Cup or not, he's got to go.
So there you go, Corey's slot out. Unless Arne Slot does the impossible and wins the Champions League, I'm not slot in or slot out at the moment. I'm trying to back him. So I suppose if I had to get off the fence, slot in for now. If he's out of the Champions League, I can't defend you anymore, son. So yeah, there you go. That's the first episode of the Welsh Kopites, the Liverpool edition. Cheers for watching if you have. Ta-ra. Say ta-ra.
Thank you.
See you in a bit.